Eradicator.
All right, guys. Today we are going to talk about locations, and especially we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about clouds, because as much as I love clouds in Star Citizen, and I think that they're looking absolutely gorgeous, we get to see them on Planet Crusader. We got a glimpse of them during CitizenCon on Pyro, in the Pyro system. And well, now we are going to see them on, we see them on Macrotech, but now we're going to see them also on Planet Hurston. You obviously recognized the Lorville CBD. And I think that clouds have been an issue for quite some time in Star Citizen because, well, it's basically been a 2D skybox that we've been seeing either from above or from below. But every time we pass that threshold, which is where the clouds are located, boom, instantly, it's just like a miracle. It's just like this thin line that we are crossing, and then we're outside of the clouds. And it just feels so weird. There's basically no transition between above the clouds and under the clouds, simply because these are 2D clouds that we're having. And now we're getting introduced more and more to actual volumetric clouds, 3D clouds, which is great. We definitely need those in a game like Star Citizen. But you're going to see that there is a problem with those clouds, and that's something that I'll be talking about as we play this video here from the latest episode of Inside Star Citizen.
Start things off this week with a look at current progress on cloudscaping for Planet Hurston.
Yes, and I really love how this looks. Now, those clouds, you should expect those clouds to be dirty, polluted, because that's what Hurston is. It is a dirty and polluted planet. So don't expect to see those pristine, clean, white clouds that you see on Macrotech. Those are going to be a completely different ball game.
What you're seeing here are the results of recent explorations in taking the pipeline you've seen demonstrated before.
Now, again, these are, as you say, explorations. These are just tests, so don't expect to see those in 3.17. But who knows if they're working if they're working fast, and if they're happy with their progress, maybe we'll get to see those in 3.18 or maybe for CitizenCon. But it's definitely coming sooner than later. They know that we are expecting clouds on those extra planets, ArcCorp, and here on Hurston, and it's looking already so much better. What I think is that these clouds are going to be coming along with the remake of Lorville, because you guys know that the Montreal team is going to be working on remaking Lorville to make it up to the current standards of landing zones, because Lorville was the first landing zone that we've had in Star Citizen back in 3.3.5, so a couple of years ago already. And well, let's just say that it's true that it does pale in comparison to what we are seeing on Microtech or even Horizon. So they need to make it a little bit more exciting, a little bit more, make sure that it makes more sense, I would say. And on top of that, we are also going to get building interiors too. So they need to redesign some of the layout of the landing zones so that we can get access to that gameplay that will come up in the future, when we will be able to explore not all of these building interiors, of course, but some of them at least. So it would make sense that as part of a package, I would say that they would release the new Lorville and the clouds at the same time. I think it would be more meaningful. So, and at the same time, since the new Lorville is not going up anytime soon, it's probably going to give them more time to get the type of clouds that they want, the visuals that they want. So again, don't get your hopes too high here for this one.
Or completely out of Substance Designer and into Houdini entirely, potentially allowing for an increase in simulation data and better shaping than we had previously. Now,
this is what I wanted to talk about. That is where we have problems with clouds, guys, because is it a problem with clouds or is it a problem with planets? Because you know that in Star Citizen, planets are not at a 1-to-1 scale. They are at a 1-to-6 scale or 1-to-10 scale. Anyway, these are not real size planets. And anyone who's been flying around Star Citizen for a while understands that, especially if you compare the planets in Star Citizen compared to the planets in Elite Dangerous, for example. They definitely do feel much smaller. But at the same time, the clouds that we're seeing here feel quite off because those clouds look like these are actually scale 1-to-1 clouds. I mean, look at those. These clouds are so big compared to the planet, which itself is small, that they look like mountains in the atmosphere. It just, to me, it doesn't make much sense, and it feels quite unrealistic. It feels like a cheap game, like Foundation, and as much as I love seeing the clouds when I am in atmosphere and when I'm on planet surface, I think that those clouds really look off when we look at them from space, simply because, as I said before, the designers back then made the choice to scale the planets at a much smaller scale than what they're supposed to be, but it seems that the clouds are not, and it looks great from the surface, but it looks off from space. I don't know if there's a way to fix that. I don't know if a solution would be to scale down the clouds as well to 1/6 of what they should be, so that they would maybe you put them a little bit lower. In lower altitude, so we get to see big clouds from the surface, but the clouds still look small from space. I'm not a game designer, so I don't know what the possibility would be. I'm just a commentator on YouTube, obviously. But if I wanted to bring some positive, some constructive criticism, this is what I would say here. I think that we need to scale down the clouds so that they could match the scale of the planets. That was just something that I would say about those clouds here. But let me know in the comment section down below, guys. Do you think that those clouds look okay from space? And it's pretty much the same issue that I would have with the clouds on Macrotech or the clouds on Crusader as well. It's just they seem a little bit too big. Let me know in the comment section down below, guys, what you think. To get a chance to win a couple of things. This month we are giving away a Hull A and a Hull C. All you have to do is to subscribe to the channel and answer the question I just asked. Also, if you are a subscriber on Patreon or via the YouTube Joe membership program, you'll have access to my Discord channel where you'll have a Hull B thanks to Dr. Forbin. Let's keep on watching because there's obviously more to talk about than just clouds here.
It's still too early to say if these will make it into Alpha 317 or require another quarter to bake, as it were. But as with all things Star Citizen, this refinement of existing process will yield better and faster results once it's all properly dialed in and approved. And while we're on Hurston...
Oh yeah, look at that. That is a very impressive statue here. Definitely less grand than the statue of Edmund Hurston that we get to see on in the CBD. I love that there are so many statues on... those Hurstons, they definitely have a knack for statues. I wonder if this Maria is a Maria Hurston.
Look around Maria Pure of Heart, the hospital coming to Lorville in the upcoming Alpha 317.
Very concrete and blocky. Ah, there's a big statue over here.
Of all the hospitals we've seen so far, this one may be my favorite. Combining the severe architecture and attitudes of Hurston with the benevolent purpose and ideology of a hospital is yielding a truly unique visual experience.
I love that they have those windows so that we can see the exterior. And it doesn't look like this is actually the like Leavden Square where you have like the bar and the reclamation center. I wish that we could have seen that, but maybe it's going to be the other side of the hospital. Oh, that's too bad. I would have loved to see players wandering around the square, but yeah, maybe other rooms.
Moving higher up and much farther out.
Oh.
Let's check in with some pyro system. Let's call it Spacebox for lack of a better term.
So that's what we are going to be seeing when we'll be looking at the background in the pyro system. Huh.
Now this potential background for all adventures in pyro is coming along nicely, with pipeline improvements yielding stars in subtly different shapes and hues, and cloud formations designed to hook in and support those you'll actually be flying through.
It looks like the whole pyro system will be around some kind of nebula, eh?
Nice contrast with this planet and its blue atmosphere you can see here.
Yes, it is a very beautiful contrast indeed. And that's the red dwarf here, the Pyro Star. Definitely not as white as the star in Stinton. And I like that we're going to see already, different types of stars that are going to be giving different types of visuals. I was hoping that the light on the planets would be a little bit reddish since it's a red star, but sorry about this. Again, what do I know? I'm not an astrophysicist. Maybe there are blue atmospheres around red dwarf as well.
And then down on the planets, when the exposure changes at night or at sunset or whatnot, you can see the hues and forms change appropriately, which is super cool.
Oh yeah, these are the changes. These are the shapes from the. These were the shapes from the skyboxes, but actually not from the sky itself, but the background of space.
Also creating some large-scale space points of interest in the Pyro system. Things that can act like checkpoints, as it were, before you enter certain gas pockets approaching Outlaw.
What is this ship? Is this an Odyssey? You guys, if you guys know what this ship is, let me know in the comment section down below. Or in the chat, because this is not going to be on YouTube.
This is early days, just blocking out shapes.
Or is this a Polaris?
Now, like white box, this is early days, just blocking out shapes.
What is this ship? I don't recognize this ship. I'm very puzzled. I'm checking the chat here. Oh, no one's chatting in the chat. It's a Bengal. Oh, he mentioned it's a Bengal. Oh, okay, Gropper. Hey, Gropper, how's it going? Okay, I guess I have to listen more carefully. Thank you, Gropper.
And before anybody freaks out,
oh yeah,
the Bengal you see here is just to show the proper scale read.
Oh yeah. It is a. I'm glad this is not going to be on YouTube. We're just checking this out together. Okay, so it is a Bengal. Gee, those are huge structures here are bending on Pyro.
As these continue to develop, they'll get things like final geometry and light stuff.
Oh yeah.
Further. But it's already shaping up to be a dramatically different experience than traveling through the Stanton system.
Yeah, it looks dead and dangerous and creepy at the same time. Yeah, they're doing a fantastic job.
And while we're in Pyro, let's take a look at the Yucca brevifolia, our outer space version of the Joshua tree.
Okay, Yucca brevifolia. Look at that, it has hair. This tree has hair. It's Tribeca.
Now, you're saying to yourself, it's just a tree. Well, yeah, but I thought it looked really cool.
It does. I love the hair.
Look at it for a bit. It's my show, and I really like the dry bark in the trunk there.
Okay, that's an interesting looking tree.
In space, the props team is continuing their work building a whole new array
no
of
refunds.
beat up, customized and unique items for the Pyro system to help sell a very different experience for life in outlaw space. Just really cool stuff. And I want to shout out Joseph, Lewis, Thomas, Dan, Stefane, Sophie, and the rest of the team for some exceptional work making things not look good. That doesn't sound right.
I know, right? Not look good, but it looks good, not looking good. Those trash piles look awesome. Look at the dust around it too.
Disgusting. And awesome.
Yeah.
And disgusting.
So weird, right?
Of course, some of these outlaw stations will have run-down space clinks aboard, so the team at Montreal have been beating those up a bit.
Oh my, the Montreal team knocking out of the park again. These guys are absolutely awesome. They're working so quickly and so fast and on so many different things at the same time. These guys are professionals.
And I'm going to take this opportunity to...
Well, I like that. It's like remakes, there's like blood everywhere. They're not even cleaning up the mess.
remind some folks that not all outlaws are filthy, disgusting slobs. Just the ones that hang around in Pyro. You fancy outlaws out there with your pinkies out while drinking Radagast from a teacup may want to make your homes in another system.
Yes, Hurston, for example, is a great place.
Finally, let's take another look at the continuing development of colonialism outposts, including these new liquid storage tanks.
Okay, seems like liquids are going to be important as well when it comes to managing outposts in the future. Okay, lights.
Wells.
Yeah, wells. That's what I was saying. Why are we gonna have wells? Wells eventually. Wells are here to get some water. Is water management going to be a thing when we'll own those outposts? Maybe surely they're starting to think about it.
And new garden modules.
Okay, new garden
That was
modules.
the future because of hexagons.
Oh yeah, of course. Hexagons. Well, that's again something that players, like including myself, I would love to have a farm in Star Citizen, grow my crops, and then have a fleet of vehicles that I would use to sell the produce all around the standard system. It just, like doing some space trucking and the production at the same time, and defending the production with, a little bit of pew-pew and escorts. Who wouldn't want to do that or be part of that? Not necessarily own the farm, but that even be just a hired gun to escort some of that would also be awesome too. And they know that at CIG. They know that we want that. And that's why they're making these. They're preparing that for the future when eventually it is going to be possible for them to provide us with this kind of gameplay.
Then, from one outpost type to another look at white box explorations of derelict outposts. Now, like all white box phases, it's an important step in identifying which areas are likely to become traversal nightmares and may want to be adjusted for gameplay reasons before we move on to final art.
Yeah, because I'm not a big fan of those derelicts. Simply because it involves exploration, getting lost. I tend to get claustrophobic and I get nausea as well if the gravity is not that big. But I understand that for all of the explorers out there, or people who like to find juicy, nice little loot, it's interesting. It's just, it's not my type of gameplay. But everyone has different tastes, right?
Outposts are another opportunity for stories and missions to be told across Pyro's planets and moons.
So, looks like we're gonna see him on Pyro. Do you notice he did not mention the standard system? I guess because the standard system is not that run down, and it's got those corporations that want to utilize all of their assets in the most profitable way as possible. Leaving out runes is not really very profitable, so could make sense why we'll see them on Pyro first. A huge shout out to everyone who's been helping me out on Patreon and via the YouTube Joint membership program. Creating content on YouTube involves continuous circles of ups and downs, and it is when we are the lower parts of the curve that your help really motivates me to keep on going. Your contribution really does make a difference, which is why in return I try to give back by offering backers access to my private Discord channel, automatic access to exclusive giveaways, or answering your questions during the show. You can help me out with as little as $1 a month, and any help is greatly appreciated. Thank you very much for watching again. This is the Eradicator. I'll see you guys later.